안녕하세요. Hi, I'm Juliane Tamina, and I'm going to share with you today my study abroad experience in Jeju with my presentation entitled Developing Cross-Cultural Values, an Immersive Experience in Jeju. So a little bit of info about me. I recently graduated last July as magna cum laude from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, where I took up BA Linguistics and chose Korean as my foreign language. So I was actually one of the first students who took up Plan C Korean. So we were the first batch to take it and learn it. So I joined UP Arirang, an organization focusing on spreading both the Korean and Filipino culture to both Koreans and Filipinos alike. I also work part-time for UP Korea Research Center as a data collector, and I also volunteered as a Korean instructor for Kapiling language lessons, an initiative by the UP Department of Linguistics focusing on helping the COVID-19 victims. I was also the Philippine representative for the second International Korean Education Youth Camp, which I attended during my undergraduate years. So anybody could easily guess why I chose to study Korean. And yes, it is because of K-pop and K-drama. I'm a fan of BTS, I'm an ARMY, and I watch a lot of Korean dramas that I wanted to understand every single thing that they were saying. This sole reason drove me to become dedicated in learning, of course, the language and culture in totality. Social media became a tool in helping different people, including me, from various backgrounds to cross the border to connect with the Korean culture and society, and at the same time to connect with other diverse cultures as well. I felt this phenomenon with BTS, especially on Twitter, where people have this sense of communal spirit of being together as one and learning from one another despite some differences. So you could see me from the first three pictures, and it was when I went to Hong Kong to watch BTS concert last 2019. And I also met up with some of my international friends from Malaysia and Indonesia. So through BTS, we could all learn from the Korean culture and society. And at the same time, I was also learning more about the culture of other fans. So I learned a lot from my Malaysian and Indonesian friends. And a few years later, I was given the opportunity to once again hone and further enhance my cross cultural attributes when I had the chance to study in Jeju last August 2022, which was a month after I graduated from university. So, thanks to Mambi's recommendation, I became part of the third KF JNU JDC Intensive Korean Language Program for Next Generation Educators as the Philippine representative, along with other representatives from other Asian countries such as Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, India, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar. This program, which was organized by the Korea Foundation with Jeju National University and Jeju Free International City Development Center, sought to improve the Korean skills of foreign educators and aspiring educators alike in accordance with the new Southern and new Northern foreign policies of South Korea. With this in mind, we underwent 300 hours of Korean language training, which included reading, speaking, writing, and listening classes from August to December. And we also attended various special lectures focusing on the Korean culture, pedagogy of teaching Korean, and the linguistic aspect of the language. It was really interesting and exciting to attend these kinds of lectures because I was able to understand more deeply Korean as a whole and experience a more intensive and rigorous approach in learning it. It helped that I majored in linguistics during my undergraduate years, so I have a background knowledge regarding it, and it also served as an advantage in understanding about the technicalities and system of the Korean language. Another thing that I was able to refine more were my interpersonal skills, in which I managed to smoothly communicate with other foreign trainees and learn more about them and their respective cultures. They were not that fluent in English at all, so we could only talk in Korean. I realized during that time that we all had to find that middle ground when it comes to dealing with other people, especially if their culture, lifestyle, and perspective are much different than mine. So not only was I integrating more of the Korean language and culture into my own learning, but bit by bit, I was also embracing and acquiring more knowledge about other people and their respective identities. I also learned how to form harmonious relationships with them and live and interact with them. My stay in Jeju also felt like a vacation since we had several field trips and cultural experiences. So last September, we traveled to Seoul for 3 days and 2 nights, where we went to different cultural and historical sites such as the Gwanghwamun Square, National Museum of Korean Contemporary History, Gyeongbokgung Palace, Blue House, National Museum of Korea, and Seoul Tower, Seollung Royal Tombs, Ponghunsa, and Starfield Coex Mall to further deepen and expand our knowledge about the country firsthand. We also had a session where we learned about the Korean traditional dances and instruments back in Jeju, and I got the opportunity to learn the instruments and dances, which was really entertaining and enjoyable. Furthermore, we also went on a yacht tour, which was my favorite by far because I could still remember my friends dancing to the full blasting music and eating tangerines, which was the specialty of Jeju. It was a really good time, and I could see my friends loosening up. And since I remember during that week, we were all busy preparing for our midterms, so it was a relaxing excursion. Towards the end of the program, we also went on a historical trip where we learned about the Jeju uprising, and it was an emotional one because I learned about the struggles that the Koreans faced before that shaped the country the way it is today. And as for the last field trip that we went on, we went tangerine picking and eating them on the spot, and it was a fun one because the tangerines were really sweet and we could taste the specialty of Jeju. And we also attended the tea ceremony where we learned about the importance of tea in Korea, especially in East Asia. And we learned about the different practices and the way of eating the sides along with the tea. But I think one of the most memorable memories I have when I was in Jeju were the times when my Central Asian friends and I would go out and explore Jeju every weekend. Every trip that we had was unique and special since we could see every aspect and charm that Jeju has, and I always felt the need to show them to everyone, especially to the Filipinos. So not all Filipinos know much about Jeju, and they obviously know more about Seoul, the capital of Korea. This, which is why I feel that I need to share with them the beauty of Jeju. And I also feel like there's much more to explore in Jeju, and in the future, hopefully, more Filipinos can explore Jeju. And I think this is why Jeju has a special place in my heart. So just to share a bit of my trips in Jeju. So my friends and I would go on traditional markets to taste the Korean street food, to buy fruits, and we also went to a lot of waterfalls, and we also went to Innisfree Jeju House. So we saw firsthand the green tea field there, where uh, where they would uh, use it and make most of their products that they would sell. and we got to taste the green tea ice cream, green tea latte, and different types of green tea products, which was also the specialty of Jeju. We also went to different cafes and different beaches, and I think the most beautiful one that we went to was the Udo Island. So we had to take the ferry to get to the Udo Island. But I think towards the end of the program, the most memorable trip that my friends and I went to was Mount Hala or Halasan. So, not all everybody knows this fact, but Mount Hala or Halasan is actually the highest mountain in South Korea. So it was actually my first time hiking a mountain ever in my life, and I did it uh, at the highest mountain in South Korea. So it was really difficult and challenging because my friends and I, it took us like 6 hours to reach the summit, and it also took us 5 hours to go down. So it took us the whole day just to climb that mountain. It was really tough and it was really difficult because during that day it was raining and it was so cold. We went there during the winter, so the steps were all slippery, and the path was full of rocks. So it was a struggle for me as a first timer, but nonetheless, I still liked it and loved it. I appreciated it because it's my first time hiking, and I did it in Jeju. So, aside from that, as part of our program, we had to take the topic test. I'm happy to share that I got level 5 and I'm very proud of it since it is my first time taking the test. I did not expect it at all because all throughout the program while we were preparing for the test, I struggled a lot and found it difficult at times since we had to write a lot of formal essays. We had to experience different kinds of writings, and we also had to analyze a lot of graphs. So there were really technical terms for those kinds of writings, and luckily through hard work I was able to achieve the level expected for us to reach, which was level 5, the second to the highest level of proficiency. So the training that we went through helped a lot in terms of my skills and career, since in a span of 4 months, I could easily tell that I've improved immensely. Back here in the Philippines, I could not practice my Korean as much as I wanted to back in my in undergraduate years because there weren't that many opportunities for me to speak the language. I could only practice my reading, writing, and listening skills. But in Jeju, I had to speak the language only, which was a good practice since I'm now more confident, knowledgeable, and comfortable with it. This program also opened many doors for me to further grow as an individual and as a Korean speaker. Currently, I am working as a quality assurance tester with Korean, wherein I test games at a gaming company. So it is through this program that I found my bigger purpose in life, and it's not just because of K drama and BTS anymore. Because in the future, I look forward to pursuing further studies and developing more of my career where I could put my Korean skills to good use and share them with a lot of Filipinos. So that's all. Kamsahamnida. Thank you so much.